Hello everybody, gotta fix my chair. I hope you're doing well, and we are going to get started. I know I'm a few minutes late when I wanted to get going, but that's the way life works sometimes, so apologies. Fix my, there we go, okay. I hope you're doing well. My name is Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic dietitian and a tuned eating and body image specialist, and we are going to do some meal planning that doesn't suck, that is going to be about providing for yourself and not depriving, and I'm hoping to take away some of the overwhelm. So I gave this assignment on yesterday, and I told you that we would do it Wednesday, where we would take some time, and I hope you have your sheets printed out, of kind of thinking about what it's like to be planning in order to take care of yourself. That's the point, right? All right, so I have some things that I had an intern of mine and I kind of put together, and so let's just get started. I'm going to let me do it right now. If you do not have your copies of these, so it's got some ideas on it. We're going to go through those, and then in this Dropbox folder there'll also be this that has the recipes that go with it. Now, I do want to tell my vegetarian and vegan friends that this is not vegetarian or vegan, but there's a fun thing here, is I do think that all of these recipes you can substitute out your favorite protein ideas, because next time I do this, I'm not sure when the next date will be, I'll just kind of surprise you all. I have a vegetarian and vegan version of all of this that we'll go through for my friends that are not using animal products. And my animal product eating friends, then our job, I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, is that we can just replace some of the more non-animal based proteins with animal based proteins if we want to, or just eat it the way we want to. So I love the idea of us being flexible and helpful to each other. So we all get to take a turn. All right. So if you have not forgotten these, they were in yesterday's post here on Facebook. But I'm going to, oh gosh, I don't think I can without losing the feed. I had a link, but if I think I click it and put it here, I'll have to do it after this video is over. So I'm going to put the link, the Dropbox link below with all of this in it for you, so you can go and get them for yourself. There's no opt-in, just a free gift, and we're going to go through it together. So a couple of things real quick about meal planning is that I know we probably all did it back in the day in a very negative way, which is planning how we're going to eat less than we need, whether we're counting calories, macros. I'm not going to say any of the diet plans because I don't want to give them any airtime of how they calculated how to help semi-starve you, but it is what it is. And we probably put a lot of work into it. When clean eating first came out, like this came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s, before it was a ginormous thing. It kind of came out through the fitness industry, and I would spend meticulous amount of time, a lot of time, calculating everything and getting it right and the percentages right. And it was based on nothing, by the way. It wasn't based on science of my body. It was just a plan. I would spend hours doing this, and I would spend a lot of time at the store. And I think when we stop doing all those things, we kind of have this arc swing where it's like we feel like if we did so much planning, that was so like overwhelming and time consuming and all that. It's like we don't have that container anymore, and we swing way to the other end, and we just kind of hope for the best in terms of food procurement. But we can't do it that way either. So it can't be like this, like meticulous and time consuming, but it can't be nothing either, because my hope and my goal in working with anybody, whether here online or in my one-on-one sessions or in groups, is that I want us to have one problem, which is just the adulting, I guess, issue of, having to take the time to take care of ourselves. Just like, we have to clean the toilet every once in a while, hopefully, and get the gas and do the things. It's like we do have to feed ourselves. And we do have to have food available for probably multiple meals and snacks a day. And that's not a burden. It's a privilege of being alive. And I It only feels like a burden for a couple of reasons. Again, we talked about this all this week. It's maybe because we feel guilty about having needs, or maybe it's feeling like, you know, I don't want to need as much as I need because that might change my weight and I don't want to deal. So, but those still aren't good reasons not to feed yourself regularly. Okay, so let's get started into this. Is that, okay, so page 1 is just a cover page. Week 1. So you see week 1, there's all kinds of options, and hopefully you printed out yours already. And when you see the recipes, you'll notice a couple of things. Is that all of these are made to be able to repurpose. I am a big fan of repurposing food. So making more than you need so you can have leftovers and repurpose those in different kinds of ways. And that's the beauty of this, because of most of this, like, I've never done this. I made this for people who, like, I need to know, I want to make sure I have more than enough food. This guide here will make enough food where you might have leftovers that you can't finish. And that's what I want. I want you to have plenty of food so your system doesn't feel triggered to, like, what am I going to do and what am I going to eat? Super important. But truth to be told is that I've never done all this, because most of the time, if I just cook 4 times a week, I have a family of 3, so you might have to cook more often, or maybe the same amount of time, but just more volume at once. But I probably cook 4 times a week, and then we can go through leftovers twice a week, and then probably eat out or do takeout or something can, you know, really convenient at least once a week. And so, again, cooking can come in like one day where you do a lot of this. Or it could be that you have to do it in smaller batches because of time or fatigue issues. But you just want to make sure that you make more than you think you need, okay? So that's tip number 1 with meal planning. So I want you to take a minute, and if you're watching the replay of this, pause the video a second and pull out this one. And start to think about, with choosing from week 1, 4 items. Just 4 items, you know, for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you could see yourself maybe taking 2 at minimum, 4 at max times a week, where you cook. Or if you're like me, sometimes literally, I can get by with cooking twice a week if I make enough on, let's say, a Sunday, and then probably one more other day of the week and we have leftovers. I can make that work. And so I want you to think about right now where you are in your journey, or maybe right now where you're what your next week is going to look like. You know, what does next week look like? What activities do you have to take your kids to? What meetings do you have? Are you going out of town and you need to maybe even cook ahead for the people that are staying home and you're taking them with you? Think about your week and what days you know for sure it ain't going to happen where you're not going to cook. You're going to work late, get up early, be really busy. And so don't put expectations for cooking those days. And then I want you to pick 2 days out of next week where you know for sure. So coming up. So we're doing this video live on a Friday. So maybe you pick a Sunday and one other day during the week, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day you know is free enough where you're done with your day like by 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or the earliest day that you know you have, or even the day of the week that you know you have the most energy. Like, I know that my lowest energy days are usually probably Wednesdays. And those days I definitely do not want to cook. Even though I might get home early, it's interesting. I've got this rhythm on my life where it's like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, feeling pretty cranking. Wednesday, kind of feeling tired. Those are easy meal days. You know, so either leftovers. Or, like this Wednesday, we ate on something that I made Sunday. The goal was to, like, make a whole casserole. And I didn't even cook it on Sunday. I just put it together so I could have foil on it. And I popped in the oven, honestly, at the beginning of a session. And by the end, I took it on a real low temperature and had it ready by the time I was done with that session. And that's how I did. And I had that ready for Wednesday night, but I prepped it on Sunday because I know Wednesdays are my lowest energy day. Even though I get home earlier, theoretically, on those days, it just, I kind of go by energy more than I go by hours or how long a day I've been working. and that's the way it goes, you know. So that's the way it goes for me. And then I probably do cooking, honestly, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, actually a little bit. Early, definitely Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Probably the least cooking on Mondays and Wednesdays. But again, I've learned that by just really paying attention to my life, where my energy levels are, what my schedule's looking like. So you're taking these ideas, again, and I just want you to go through and either circle, highlight, or just write down on your blank sheet here, maybe 3 to 4 of those that you're for sure that you are interested in making. And then, and by the way, the Dropbox links for all this will be, I'll post it below when we're done. And so you can go back and watch this video and do some of the action steps, okay? So something I want to say about these recipes, because I went over it with somebody and they gave me some really awesome feedback, is that some of it felt a little nutrition-y. I love that word. And, you know, I could see that because I don't have a lot of, like, you know, fried stuff in here, or there's no desserts, generally because I just wanted to focus on meals this go around. But don't get me wrong, I fully expect you all to be having play foods in your house, ice creams and brownies and things like that that are your desserts, that are part of your snacks. This was just about meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I tell people as well that whenever I meal plan, I always have convenience things. So the way I've been able to get so far, and I guess I guess I've been cooking for myself for 20-something years when I left home. And I've been married for working on 17, and I've had a little one for almost 9. And the way I've been able to be consistent with feeding us for all those years is that I never suspect that my best laid plans are going to go as I planned. It's not going to happen. There are going to be times where, like, oh, you know, I'm going to make the chili and I forgot to plug in the crock pot. Or I'm going to make the sausage and mushroom pasta dish, but I'm feeling wrecked maybe, and I'm probably not going to want to eat the idea of, like, browning sausage just feels like a lot of work. Maybe I won't do it. So I always have at least 2. I've always had at least 2 backup meals, I call them. Yeah. So always have 2 backup meals in your freezer. So that might mean chicken strips and mac and cheese and peas. We do that a lot. That's one of our backup meals. Of course, pizza. Of course, frozen tortellini. I want you to really be thinking about grilled cheese and soup. There is nothing wrong with these very, very simple and ready-to-made things. Those frozen meals, whether it's like Stouffer's or P.F. Chang's, or I'm just throwing out some brands I could think of that I use, is that don't be above those kind of things, because the most important meal you eat is, like, the most nutritious meal you eat are the ones that you're eating regularly and you're providing your body with regular nutrition. That way you can be present and you can not just survive, but the goal is to thrive. This is why we're doing this. We're not doing this because we're trying to be healthy here. We're doing this to provide for ourselves and heal those old wounds of being, felt like we couldn't have what we needed. Yes, we did too. Renee, I'm just reading some comments here that we had grilled cheese and soup. That's pretty much a staple on the weekend. Probably Saturdays I would say we have that 50% of the time, some kind of grilled sandwich. So awesome. Yeah, we do that a lot. And those are, I wouldn't call those aren't even backup meals. Those are, like, I call in my head my easy meals. And so it's really important that you have those things. Some of these substitute, if you're not, when you start to look at the recipes that I put in the folder here in a little bit, is that you don't have, if you're in a place where it's like, ooh, like, I don't like grilled chicken, well, use chicken thighs. If you want breaded chicken, use that. Breaded shrimp. Just because there's recipes doesn't mean these are things that you have to follow perfectly. A lot of these, you know, you might decide, like, I'm not making the proteins right now, but I'll get them pre-done for me. So don't be above getting rotisserie chicken, let's say, and, you know, breaking that down and that's in all your recipes this week. Make it simple. If it's already pre-done. Again, I talked about at the beginning that I know these aren't vegan or vegetarian meals, but you know, there might be some things like, oh, I can't eat one more, whatever, then substitute beans where there's tofu. Like, let yourself mix and match these things. Any way you can find yourself where you hear a limit of what you feel like food-wise you can or can't do. Is that from diet culture, or is that from your energy level? And those are two different things. And so we want to pick the next easiest thing. So does anybody have any questions about these, about your struggles with like how you think meal planning should go, how much time you think it takes? All of these recipes in here were made to be very simple and simple-ish as best I can ingredients, as well as but just enough variety to where like you can start to learn what you like again. Okay, so again, I'm looking at this and like there's all kinds of ways in which I know I would have made like, oh, I can't do that. Like the mushrooms not being pre-cut, we'll buy pre-cut mushrooms. And chili, I don't want to chop up onions, I'm not gonna make chili. Buy pre-chopped up onions. Mashed potatoes, oh, I don't know if I can peel them and boil them. That feels like so much. It's okay, get the ones that are already done. You can get hash browns from the freezer section and maybe boil those. And then, you know, electric mix them with some milk and butter and salt and pepper. Any way that you can make this simpler for yourself, allow that. Good question. I've wanted that too because there's yogurt in it. I don't know if I like heated yogurt. You might have to maybe gently heat it. Maybe somebody else has a thought about that. Can overnight oats be heated to eat? Does anybody know that question? Has anybody ever done it? I've never done it. I like warm oatmeal. So with that recipe, I typically just set it out to room temperature and not be quite as cold. That's the way I eat it. So does anybody have any questions, thoughts? But I do want you, if you're watching the replay especially, and if you're live here but you're not making notes and not noticing where your barriers are, or if you know this is feeling overwhelming, make some notes about that. How do you know in your system this is overwhelming? And what part of you says that's true, or that you can't do it, or that you're not worth it? You know, for you, you might not be meal planning yet. You might just be looking at your barriers and processing through that. And if you need help, please let me know. So some people need help actually with meal planning, and that's what I do. Some people need help with like getting past some of the old wounds that say that their needs are too much or they can't get met, or those kind of things. Renee, just give it a shot. That's all I want you to do. So if you're not sure if you're going to like something, the worst thing is going to happen, you don't like it. And guess what? We've got backups. That's what we want. If something you didn't like it didn't work, then oh yeah, I've got leftover quiche that I made. Overnight oats not my thing. That happens. You've got waffles in the freezer. Yeah. So Mary said I'm going to eat for food often. I feel about it at times. Well, you know, I think that we all have times in this journey where we're eating out more than maybe. Whether it's a burden financially or not, that maybe we need to. One of the ways that I started having more courage, honestly, to do even things like this, to start taking time to cook for myself, is that I needed to be fed. And so I went out to eat more because I needed to like just have the food in front of me and be served and look at menus and look at how food is put together. And that helped me start to take some risks to be willing to do this in a providing kind of way, not a depriving kind of way. And we do sometimes, and it's okay. We really need to do that sometimes, and that might last you 6 months to a year. It took me a while, honestly, to want to cook, and it was really just from my old dieting days of spending so much time preparing meals that were disgusting. They were diet meals and they were gross and they were low calorie and miserable and not enough food. And I didn't know how to get back to this yet. And so eating more food. And I'm giving you the schedule, but I want you to look at the recipes, because I think there's a way every single one of them can be hacked down more, which is made more simple. So it's okay if like you're seeing these things like chicken and rice bowls, leftover shrimp tacos. Every bit of this, you could get to the place where you don't really cook. It could be the rice in the bag and pre-cooked protein of any kind, and steamable vegetable, then you throw it in a bowl and you got some sauce. You know, so whether it's teriyaki sauce or a peanut sauce or salsa, and you dump it together. It doesn't even have to be, you know, this much cooking, which these meals are all fairly simple, by the way. So they're meant to be simple, but if you need to break it down another step, or another 3 steps, make that okay. All right, does anybody have any questions? And I would love if anybody wanted to fill out your form and make some notes, or you had any comments about doing this. I think it's really important that you don't just watch these videos, like that so you've taken 20 minutes so far to watch this. Take 20 minutes to sit down with yourself, or 30. And you deserve taking some time to plan out being satisfied. This is what this is about, is giving yourself that time. I know every single person watching this has probably had enough experience of either going out to eat, or remembering a time when you were fed, or somebody did feed you. Whether it was family, friends, restaurants, treatment, whatever, where you had food in front of you and that was provided and that felt good. So I know if we've had those experiences, we can also draw from those. So, all right, I'm counting on you all to, like, you know, take advantage of these resources, to like take some time, take 20 minutes, take 30 minutes. And even if you don't do all of it that you planned, even one thing, one new recipe, one risk, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something about your barriers. You're going to have something to be contemplating. And that's not the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that you set this up and it's not as hard as you thought it was. It was more satisfying and nurturing than you thought it would be. And you build some competence and confidence in yourself. So that's what the point of all this is. So I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to put below the link so you can have all these resources. And if you all like this, please let me know. Comment below if you really enjoyed this, if you'd like to do it again. Come back around maybe later tonight or tomorrow or some other time. Say, this is, you know, what showed up for me, and let's celebrate that, or let's talk about it. And please share this video. You know, like and share it with people that, you know, could benefit from just thinking things through and talking it through, and not feeling so alone with it. And that's my point for making this for y'all. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.